This went way smoother than last time.
I know, right?
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
Ink Guy, how are you? This went
Right.
way smoother than last time. All right, it's
I know, right? Turn that
good.
off.
Good.
Right.
Until yoga time?
Yoga time.
Time.
Now my
Oh, his
voice is
voice is.
wow.
Oh.
Brutal. They don't need to
Okay,
hear
let
me
me
anyways.
readjust. Like 90%, so good.
Also,
Good.
hang on 1 second. B, bam. Now they have the multi-link if they so choose.
Thank you for sending that out.
If they so choose.
Oh, are
Oh,
you
wow.
ready to talk about some Wild Wild West?
Now I'm ready. I guess. I guess I'm ready. I guess. Sure, I guess.
Okay, well, we have to start with our initial review of the movie.
Okay.
Or no, it would be what we think about it right now, and then we give our review after discussion. Although I have a feeling that it's not going to change very much and it may even go lower.
Yeah.
So, you want to start with yours?
Um, okay, so let me start off by saying I really liked this movie as a kid, like as a teenager, and I before starting this, I would have been like, you know what, it's a 6 out of 10. It's a not a great movie, but it's it's got some good qualities things. But man, is it fucking bad? It's super bad. Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot of racist things in it, and not okay, I won't say that they're racist, but they're borderline racist. Um, they really toe that line between is it racist or is it just playful humor. There's a lot of sexist things in it. There's it's just the plot's all over the place. It
A lot of
it
bad stuff.
it's just bad. It's just bad. Go ahead.
So I thought I had seen the movie, but when I watched it, came to realize that I hadn't actually seen the whole thing.
Oh
I was
really?
saying the other night that I probably saw enough Burger King commercials to think I'd seen it. And yeah, so but even not having seen it, I felt like this you know, kind of this I had this memory of it, right?
Okay.
Whole spider. I remember Will Smith, and it's like a fantasy western. And
Hmm.
so going off of that, I would probably say the same thing. Like I thought it was going to be better than it was. But for my review, I would probably have to give it like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah. I'd say a three.
Or
A
yeah.
three, honestly. It's sad. Like I understand Inked Guy and Drunken Gamer. I do understand that it is set in a different time period, but there are other movies that handle it so much better. Even Django Unchained handles the racism a lot better. Just
Like
saying.
I feel with this movie too, it's such like a weird mix of alternate history, like fantasy and steampunk, and it's just like in that time period, it just something about it feels out of place because it's such this mishmash of like different genres.
Yeah, and I
And
mean,
it's the fantasy and the steampunk kind of pull you out. Like you feel like it's not an alternate history. You feel like it's something different. So I don't know.
yeah, and I mean, not only that, but you also you have to remember this is a movie remake of a TV show where none of this took place. None of the steampunk stuff. It wasn't. I mean, not. I mean, it was, but it wasn't like that in the show. I mean, it's just. It's a very odd take on the genre, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, the original show was like what, two secret agents
Something like that.
in
Yeah.
in the West, and they had, I mean, they were like both white, and they had like jinx and adventures. And so like of the 1999 movie with Will Smith was like nothing like the original show
Yeah, I mean, I'll
in
give it
name only.
I'll give it some credit. It has some cool scenes, some cool special effects scenes, but for the most part, it just falls really flat. Um, the jokes aren't really like that funny. I think I laughed one time in the entire movie, and that was when they had like the fake boobs, and he's like, "Now touch my breast" or whatever after he filled it up with water, and it was mainly just the old guy giving them the looks like that made me laugh. I don't know. It's
I hated that scene. It was like the worst.
it's so stupid, but it's like it wasn't the scene, it was just the old guy, because that old guy is like a genuinely good actor. You know, he always plays this like wily old coot in the West, and you just love him for it. I don't know. But like the whole I there's a lot of like there's like it's like 5 minutes in, and they make a sex joke, and then immediately after that they make a racist joke, and that sets the tone for the entire movie.
This is what was it rated? I think it was
PG-13 probably.
PG-13.
More than likely PG-13, if not PG.
Do we want to jump into a synopsis of the movie, like high level overview for people who may not have seen it in a while?
If you would like to do that, you can.
Okay. So, basically the movie is and Kevin Kline as secret agents who are tasked with finding missing scientists, I guess, right? Like these are
Mm-hmm.
important missing scientists.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason they're missing, and you know, it goes through all of the pictures of these two you know, what is it? This mismatched pair, this unlikely duo.
Yeah. And the problem is is that so there's these missing scientists that they bring up pretty early on, I would say. You know, like he goes to the thing or whatever, and he meets um Kevin Kline's character, who's dressed as a woman or whatever, and then they go to the president, and um he's like, "Oh, we got to find these scientists." So that's probably like 15-20 minutes into the movie or so. But then you don't really like there's no plot that has to go with the scientists. It's just kind of in the back until the very end, when they actually do save the scientists, and then it kind of it just like all gets wrapped up together. There's like so many different things going on with the plot, like this massacre that happened where Will Smith's parents were killed there, and then you have the scientists, and then you have Salma Hayek's character, who doesn't make any fucking sense in the entire movie. Part of my language.
Wait,
But
can we go
go
back
ahead.
to the part where Will Smith, there's like the only deep the only deep part of this movie, which completely comes out of nowhere, is Will Smith talking about how his parents died, about how the bad guy in the movie just slaughters women and children, like complete disregard for these people.
Yeah,
A really serious moment. And then like 3 minutes later, they've got Selma Hayek like running around like with her butt hanging out, and like they're making all these like terrible jokes about her, and it's just like contrast, this stark contrast of like super serious death and murder,
yeah.
and then
It
just like
doesn't.
all of a sudden all of these like sexist jokes are like flying around. It's
Yeah,
so weird.
it doesn't make any sense. Like the tone of the movie is set, like I said, it's like a racist joke and then a sexist joke, and then it keeps with that, except for that one spot that's like a 5 minute sequence of all the southern soldiers getting killed, and then he sees it and he's like, "Oh, this is my family was killed," blah 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 blah, and then it's back to the same stuff, and they don't ever like follow up on anything. It it's really
It's supposed to
weird.
be Will Smith's reason for why he wants to track down this bad guy so much, but it just yeah, it completely comes out of nowhere. It's like kind of irrelevant.
I mean, yeah, I
I
understand it's his reasoning, but and I'm sorry to cut you off, but
yeah, no, no, go for it.
like that should be something that's at the beginning of the movie, not like 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Almost an hour into the movie.
Yeah, like why are you bringing up key character development halfway through the movie?
Yeah. I do want to say, so Drunken Gamer, I know that last night you said that you really like this movie. So if you have any counterpoints, definitely like throw them out there.
Please do. Please do. Because what's sad is this movie has good star power. Will Smith is good, Kevin Kline is good, Salma Hayek, um, the guy that plays Bloodbath McGrath is a good actor. The old guy that drives the train is a good actor. It has good star power, but none of them really get to showcase their acting abilities, I guess. And it just kind of, I guess, it just kind of falls flat.
I mean, Drunken Gamer says that he hasn't seen it recently. That's okay. I mean, if you like the movie and you have points that you remember, like I
Yeah,
think it's okay to bring them up, and we're happy to discuss them.
I would be interested to
So
hear uh, the actual like someone's actual pros list for this movie. I would honestly like to see it. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything.
yeah,
I don't see many pros in this movie, and that's coming from someone who has a really fucked up sense of humor. Like like I have a really bad sense of humor, and even I didn't find it funny. Now as a kid, I was laughing hysterically probably, but truth be told, I was a kid. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I'll tell you my pros, and my pros were the mechanical spider
Yep.
and that song that Eric Cartman sings in South Park. Those are the two.
I will add Will Smith's Wild Wild West song to that pros list because I don't care what anyone says. Will Smith is awesome as an artist. I
I
will.
think you mean like
I think that.
as an
I'll,
actor.
no, his music is great. His music is great.
I'll have to take your word for it because honestly, like aside from that movie, I don't think I've heard any other Will Smith songs.
Men in Black. Speaking of Men in Black, let's
Okay,
go.
so maybe only the
Let's
movies.
let's
Yeah.
poke at Men in Black for a second because the same director did Men in Black. He did Adam's Family. He did Adam's Family Values. Is that what it's called? I think he did all these other movies, and Wild Wild West is just such a huge departure from those movies.
Let's see.
Ink Guy, you're wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong. Go back and listen to Big Willie Style and tell me that's a bad album. That's a good album.
Was okay. The director Barry Sonnenfeld.
Sonnenberg, or something like that.
MBD says Sonnenfeld.
Well, Wikipedia does not, I think. Let me make sure. Wild Wild West. It does say that.
Black Adams
Oh, you're
Family.
right. Yeah, Sonnenfeld. Yes. I don't know where I heard Sonnenberg. It's fine. But yes, let's go with that.
He's done. Oh, producer. We want director.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adam's Family Values, Get Shorty, Men in
Yeah.
Black, um, Men in Black 2. He did all three of the Men in Black movies. He did that new
Has she?
Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events show.
Yeah, and Pushing Daisies, wasn't that supposed to be kind of like a cult classic
I don't
show?
know. I've never seen it.
I think it was. The Tick, he did the pilot of The Tick.
Heck yeah, man, that was a good show too.
It's had some pretty good
Some they're
movies
not
under his belt.
like fantastic movies or shows, but they're significantly better than Wild Wild West.
For sure. For sure.
And it makes me wonder why they went this direction with the movie. Um, like I said, it has some cool special effects. The giant mechanical spider is really cool. Um, but most of it, it's not even that much of a western, which is, I mean, you'd think it would be considering it's Wild Wild West, but it doesn't even
Cowboy
really.
outfits.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like a western, you know. Maybe
Yeah.
that's. I mean, maybe that's what Salma Hayek's character is supposed to be, like the damsel in distress. But in the whole movie, she just plays this like stupid girl. Like when they lock themselves in the closet in the train with the sleep grenade. Oh,
And
thank you
she
for the
like
pose.
panics.
Yeah, she like panics, and it's just like, what are you doing? Why? I don't. What's up, Mr. Mystic Mayhem? How you doing?
Guy says the movie is just like every other Will Smith movie, where it's just a movie about Will Smith being Will Smith.
See, I disagree with that because Will Smith has some really good movies.
Do you say are Will Smith's top three movies? Top,
Top three movies?
I don't
Um,
know, however many you can name.
well, what I mean, shoot. Have you ever seen 7 Pounds?
Some dramas recently, right?
Yeah,
More recent-ish.
if you ever get a chance, I seriously urge you guys to watch 7 Pounds. It's a movie. He's gonna like, I think, commit suicide or something like that. And before he does it, he wants to give out 7 of his body parts to 7 deserving people like that need donors and stuff. And he like ends up falling in love with. I mean, never mind. We'll just watch it. Like, just watch it. And yeah, Pursuit of Happiness is really good too. So to
That
say,
his
go
Yeah.
ahead.
I think that his earlier movies, so as much as I love Independence Day, like it's one of my favorites, but Independence Day, Men in Black, I mean, this movie, Wild Wild West, there might be one or two others, but I feel like he does play the feeling that he kind of plays himself in those movies. Like it's the same kind of like, you know, snarky hero attitude and those parts really aren't that different.
I would agree with that, but you also have to remember, and I guess this is a point, for the movie or whatever. But he had just finished the Fresh Prince, right? He he finished up that show and it's done, and so now like he's trying to find his own character. But let's see what other movies he has around there. Keep talking. I got this.
Yeah.
Will
Well,
Smith. Got it. Go ahead.
I haven't seen a lot of his newer stuff. So things like, yeah, Hancock, Suicide Squad, 7 Pounds. I haven't seen a whole lot of those. So all I have to go off of is his older stuff. I saw like I think I Am Legend is like the most recent Will Smith movie I've seen, which
Really?
was from 2007. Yeah.
Ow.
Like there's iRobot. I saw iRobot. That one wasn't
I
great either.
mean, Bad Boys is a good movie. Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 are good movies. Enemy of the State's a really good movie. Ali was a good movie. Um,
Oh,
Trying to think of what else. I Am Legend was a great movie. Uh,
enjoyed it.
oh no, I'm sorry, that was producer. Never mind. Don't worry, he produced Annie in 2014. Oh, he's playing the genie in Aladdin. Don't forget that.
Nah.
I mean, he's got some good movies. So to say that like all of his movies are the same is not Correct, in my opinion.
I would say that his earlier movies feel more that way. But I mean, obviously, as he did more movies as he got older, I think that the parts that he played and the types of movies he was in definitely expanded.
I guess I can agree with that. Yeah, because I mean, even Bad Boys, even though it's rated R, it's still he's still like a snarky police officer instead of a snarky fighter pilot jet, like in Independence Day, or a snarky. Nope, he's a snarky police officer in Men in Black too. Never mind. Like,
And in Bright, so Bright was one of his more recent
yeah,
ones. He was
Bright.
kind of the same in that too.
Yeah,
So maybe it's just like maybe he has like this set persona for like action movies, and then he kind of has a set persona for dramas. Because I haven't seen any of his dramas, so I don't know if those like 7 pounds. I think Hancock was 8.
I don't know. I've never actually seen Hitch. I kind of refused to watch it.
That's like the comedy where he's a matchmaker, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Hey, Terrace Leia, how are you?
Thank you for the lurk, McPherson. And Mystic Mayhem Gaming, that alert is Zack Ryder of WWE fame.
They're really cool. Also, like just your entire setup right now is just really nice.
You like that?
Yeah, it's good.
Great. What's hot trash,
So we
Ink
kind of
Guy?
one of the movies
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go on.
was Layout. I hope you didn't say that about Tin Man's Layout.
That's rude. Anyways, go on.
I was gonna say, so we kind of took a look at the director. I don't know, we kind of spoke about the source material. I mean,
Mhm.
do you have anything else to say about the original show? Because I mean, I think that there's really not a whole lot to compare this movie as
Um,
far as the old show is concerned.
the only thing is they changed a lot of it. They changed a lot of it over. Dr. Lovelace wasn't. What would you even call him? A handicapped person, I guess. You know, he was a dwarf, and his like henchman or whatever you want to call him was, a 7 foot tall dude that was played by Richard Keel, who played Jaws in James Bond. It's like it when you look at the source material and then look at what the final product was, they don't really kind of. It's such a far departure from the original that it like you said at the beginning, it's basically Wild Wild West in name only. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it's kind of a lot like Godzilla that we talked about last week. Honestly,
Only like it's called Godzilla, but everything else is just not Godzilla.
right? Like it's not, for all intents and purposes, it's not Godzilla. Just the same as this, for all intents and purposes, it's not Wild Wild West. As people that, and the thing is they probably duped a lot of people into that. Is they were like, well, we'll make this cyberpunk spaghetti western kind of thing, and we'll call it Wild Wild West, and we'll get the new kids and the old people that grew up watching the show. My parents hate the
That
movie.
popular?
I don't know. I don't know, but
It,
if
I don't know how popular it was.
I don't either. I know my parents watched the show when they were kids. Well, maybe not kids, but whatever. Um, you know, I don't know. That's kind of my mentality, is that they figured they could get the old and the new and make double the money.
Well, it's just, I guess, asking about its popularity, it just seems so strange to me that for kind of like a summer blockbuster, that's the source material that they would choose. Like
Yeah,
I guess, Western, like Secret Agent Western. I mean, that's something that sounds like it could work, but just like the way that they handled the entire movie is just not that. Like it's not cool, it's not a Western, it's not like
yeah, it's not. I think it has a hard time finding its own and what it's trying to do. And the problem, like you said, it's a summer blockbuster, but these other movies are way bigger blockbusters. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace came out the same year. So did The Mummy, that, the remake with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that was good.
Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, which maybe not a summer blockbuster, but still, like, it's a better movie because it doesn't it doesn't try and be something that it's not. It knows that it's a parody and it plays a parody.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Big Daddy is another, Adam Sandler big movie. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and that's just in the 3 month span of April to June, not including all the other huge movies that came out that year. So even Godzilla came out that year. So um, I don't know. I don't know what its deal is.
Yeah, well, strange. It's just very strange to me. So, I mean, I don't know what the reasoning behind it was, but obviously, like, their movies coming out, it just seems like such an odd choice.
Hmm. Hmm. I
So,
agree.
I don't know. But so I've gone over my pros. Wait, you went over your pros. Did you go over your pros on the movie?
Um, I think the only pro I wanted to add was, in addition to yours, was the Will Smith song. That's it.
Right. Okay. So do we want to go into pros?
You mean the cons?
Sorry, cons.
Sure.
Okay. This deep, dark, twisting labyrinth
Yeah.
of Wild, Wild West cons.
Um, we can start, right from the very beginning. They have that scene in the water tower. I guess because that's a normal thing to do in the Wild West, is have sex in a water tower. Um, but like,
Like staked
go,
out in the water tower. Like he
yeah,
was staked out, like waiting for these guys to show up. But like he had his bed in there and he had like floating boxes with like drinks and stuff. And he's just like having sex with this girl.
yeah. And then he's like, they make a sex joke. Like I said, 5 minutes into the movie, there's a sex joke. So, you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Ink Guy says that he doesn't think there's enough time this month for all of the cons. So we will try to consolidate for this.
don't worry. We have, my personal favorite is, uh, you wrote all of Salma Hayek's scenes in the train. I would just like to change that to all of Salma Hayek's scenes in the movie, because she
Yeah,
really
all of
serves
her
no
scenes.
purpose in that movie.
It's just really the worst. And I like Selma
I
Hayek.
do too. I do too.
And it's just her role in this movie was so pitiful. Like she literally served no purpose except to be of just really bad jokes.
Yep. And to be sex appeal. That's it.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
And she wasn't even in. She's in it kind of like towards the middle, but she wasn't in most of the beginning and she wasn't in most of the end because she
yeah,
got kidnapped.
she like shows up and then she's on the train for like 5 seconds, and then they drop her off, and then she's back on the train somehow, which they never really explain how she, because they drive away in the train, and they drop her off at night, and then the next day it's daytime outside, and she gets dropped back into the train. Like, I
Because Kevin Kline is cooking breakfast.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, because I was like, well, she must have like seen because just like Will Smith at one point, he hops onto the back of the train and then there's this spring-loaded platform that like throws him into the train
right.
next day.
Yeah, but that was like immediate, and hers is at least, I'm gonna say at least 8 hours later. At least. It's enough time for the sun to come up and them to go to sleep and wake up. So I don't know.
Another con, where so this is steampunk, obviously. And Klein's inventions were just and like too goofy. It was like Looney Tunes.
It most definitely is Looney Tunes. There's like he has like the I think when he's dressed up as the woman or whatever, he has something on his boob that like hits people in the
Like
face,
punches. Yeah.
and he's got that weird hypnotic thing on his like I don't, is it like a garter belt or something?
Yeah.
And it's it's just so off the wall. And then he's like, oh well, I uh I have all this stuff, and then Will Smith's like, oh, you don't have this stuff or this stuff, and he's like, oh no, that's in my other dress or something like that. And I get that it's meant to be like comedy, but dude, come on, like he reminds
Yeah.
me of Data from the Goonies, where all of his inventions kind of don't work. Like they work, but not enough to be useful.
Oh, Inked Guy is leaving. Thanks for
All right,
hanging out
have a
with
good night, Ink
us.
Guy. I
We'll see
appreciate
you
it.
later. But yeah, it's just like I say some. I should say very little. There were like there was the occasional like cool thing, steampunk thing. Like I think they were mostly though the bad guy stuff. So like the mechanical spider. At one point he had like his train suspended like
Yes,
over the tracks
yes,
and like Will Smith, they just like fly right under him and it like lowers the train down. Like that's really cool.
yeah,
And I know there were like one or two other things, but like everything of Kevin Kline's was just terrible. Like too Looney Tunes.
yeah.
Like it was bad.
And not only that, but his like even his disguises are borderline like not racist, but like what am I trying to think
They're
of?
just like stereotypes.
Yeah, that thank you. Because like he has the girl prostitute at the beginning or whatever, and then the next time you see him in disguise, oh no, not the next time, the third time, sorry, that you see him in disguise, he's dressed up as like a frontiersman. That's like a
Yeah.
Canadian frontiersman. And he's like, hey, watch out, eh, and all this stuff, and he's like, come on, dude, like you can't
Yeah.
have just a normal disguise. Even even the one that Will Smith dresses up in at the end, that like the Saudi Arabian belly dancer, is a
Yeah.
stereotype. I
Oh, it was a bad stereotype.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it was bad. Like, I'm just gonna leave it at
yeah.
that.
I mean, I think the scene, you have it on the cons list, but I think the scene where they have the guy's head and they like put the flame in the thing and they project the image out of his eyes, I think that's like a neat concept, but it's really overshadowed by the fact that Will Smith is like, it's a man's head 15
Like
different
eight times.
times.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's
Like
a cool
over and over
scene.
again. And each time he says it, it just gets worse and
Yeah.
worse. And you're like, how many more times is he gonna say it?
Hmm. Um,
It's
but yeah,
bad.
like I know it's set in a different time period, but like I said, it could have been handled a lot better. Um, I'm kind of I'm a little bit ashamed that Will Smith agreed to act that way, to be completely honest. Um,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of like real there's a lot of things that hearing now, it's like, wow, man, that's bad. Like I'm not even gonna say them because I don't want to get flagged or anything for being racist or anything. But like, come on, man, how can you agree to like hearing that and not? I don't know. Whatever. What do I
Yeah,
know?
I think the scene you're referring to is the one where he's at the party,
Yep.
right? And they like
They
put
go
him
back and
out
forth.
essentially.
Well, there's that, but
Oh,
then before that, they're
yeah.
having the like back and forth with Doctor Lovelace, and he's like, "Oh,
Oh, I hated that part.
why don't you stand up or whatever?" And then it's like all of Will Smith's are about the guy being crippled, and then all of the Dr. Lois's are all about being black.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't.
Terrible exchange on both sides. I
it's
hated it.
super it's super offensive. It's super
Yeah,
offensive.
yeah. It was just that, like, essentially that whole party scene. Like,
Yeah,
there's just a lot of bad stuff in that party scene.
yeah. There really is. There's a lot of. Yep.
Yeah, yo boy, L video.
Good educational video.
Think that's
Yeah,
a compliment,
I hope so.
but I'll take it.
I'll take it as a compliment.
And thank you for the host, Ames. I appreciate it.
Woot woot.
Just that whole party scene was just bad. Just bad, bad, all over the place, bad.
Yeah, I agree.
um,
Um,
so I don't know what I feel like that's a lot of what other big
um,
um
there. I think.
uh,
I think the whole. I think uh the whole fight scene at the end on the spider is like the progressive fights that Will Smith gets in. Um, I think they're kind of worthless, to be honest. You know, um, I don't know. It's weird because Will Smith kind of spends like the entire movie getting his ass kicked, and then he becomes a badass at the end. I don't know.
yeah, the well it, he had some fighting scenes like the very beginning of the movie. He kind of
Yeah,
like trampled these guys.
yeah, but I mean, those are just like minor, insignificant people. He never like gets one over on a main character. You know what I mean? Like a main bad guy.
That's true.
Um,
All the fight scenes on the mechanical spider, he's like breaking out these moves.
yeah, and that's another thing. When he fights, did you notice that he does this like weird karate slash like kung fu stuff?
He like
Like when he's like doing like spinning back kicks. He's like doing like jump roundhouse kicks, and it's all very weird. Not to say that he might not know kung fu or karate or whatever, but it just, for him owning a gun, and it's like a big part of the movie, like, oh, I have this gun, and Kevin Kline's character does not like guns, so that's why we don't match or whatever. He like really barely ever uses the gun. I don't know.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, but like
very,
some sort of martial arts he uses at the very end of the movie.
yeah.
And then he has like a knife hidden in his boot or something. I don't know. I remember that.
Yeah,
That was
thanks to
bad. They're
Kevin
like
Kline.
yeah, there are like a lot of bad knife puns in that whole scene, I remember.
Yeah. I don't know. It's super weird. Um
But all of those fights were like super drawn out too. Like
yeah.
they just that whole spider just felt way too long.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, I think the whole movie kind of felt too like it was drawn out. Uh there's a lot of scenes in that
Plot.
movie that could be cut, and it would be probably a better movie.
Well, just it was just because it's all over the place. The
Yeah.
plot was very thin. Yeah, it just felt like especially towards the end
Mhm.
that it had just gone on way too long.
Yeah. Um I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about it, honestly. It's it's a bad movie. And that's coming from someone who used to love the movie. It's a bad movie.
My opinion, it's just like ultimately it seems like they had a fantasy slash steampunk and they really just got the worst of both parts. like, well, and it just became a giant mess. And then on top of that, story that just really didn't play to any of the actors' strengths. Like like you said, there were good actors in the movie. There was star power, and it just like completely squashed all of it.
Yeah.
It's possible. Like none of the actors were good.
Yeah. It's sad to say. And I didn't really understand the point of Kevin Kline playing his character, Artisan Gordon or Artemis Gordon, or whatever his name was, and then also playing Ulysses S. Grant. Like, why? Why couldn't you just get some? It just didn't make any sense to me.
People, two separate actors, right?
Was it two separate actors? I'm pretty sure it was the same person.
They were separate because in the beginning, Kevin Kline dresses up.
I know, but I'm pretty sure that he play. Yeah, he plays both characters.
Eh. So I guess that was supposed to be like joke. I don't know. Was that a joke?
I don't know. I don't know. That's the problem. That's the problem is nothing's funny in this movie, so it's hard to say what is a joke and what isn't.
That is true. That is very true. I I would agree with that.
I don't I don't even know. I don't even know what to think anymore. I don't even know. Um and then, the last con you have is the twist of Salma Hayek being
Twist.
married. Um
It isn't
which
even a twist.
it's not a twist. It's not a twist at
No.
all. And it doesn't even it has no outcome on the movie at all. Um, I don't.
But even like Will Smith is like, you could have told us that from the beginning. Like when
Yeah,
she says that. So like literally there's no it wasn't a twist. There's no point to it. Like I guess you're supposed to assume that if she had I don't know. Like, well, that was the whole point of her character, right? Was that she was there for the sex appeal. So I
yeah.
guess you're supposed to assume that if she said that she was married, then Will Smith and Kevin Kline wouldn't have helped her. I, I don't know. It's so weird. I don't even know what to make of it. Like I don't know what the point of it was.
Like I see, like what you're trying to say, but at the same time, that was already their goal from the beginning was to save the scientists because that's what the president told them to do. So it's like reinforcing the point. Maybe they threw her in. Hang on. Here's a thought. Maybe they threw her in because the plot is so thin and so dumb that the audience didn't forget what the whole point of the movie was supposed to be.
I mean, maybe, but
I don't
I
know.
mean, yeah, because it comes because I don't think they never. I think Selma Hayek's character is the only one who scientists. Because I think other than that, I don't think Kevin Kline or Will Smith really talk about the scientists that much.
They
I know
don't.
they talk about pursuing uh the the bad guy,
Yeah, they
but
talk
they
about
don't
it.
talk about the
They talk
scientists.
about it like one time when they're doing the thing with the head. He's like, "Oh, it's one of the missing scientists" or something like that, and it's the head of whatever so and so. He's one of the missing scientists, and then it doesn't get mentioned again until Salma Hayek enters the movie.
Yeah. And then once she's gone, when she gets I don't know. I don't know. Going back to the last thing she says, the twist. Supposed to assume that maybe Kevin Kline and Will Smith wouldn't have helped her if they'd known that she was married.
Okay.
Let's just go back to her anyway. Whether or not she was married, Will Smith didn't even want her on their trip.
Mm-hmm.
It really wouldn't have mattered. Either way, they would have dumped her. But
Yeah.
she still managed to get on back on the train.
Somehow.
Yeah, so and then at that point it was just like, I guess she's here. Let's just keep her. Or they kept her on because she had information. That's the whole thing. It wasn't because she was like available. I mean, some of it sort of was.
Yeah, because as soon as Dr. Lovelace brings that tank or whatever you want to call it to the Southern soldiers and kills them all, he's like, Gordon or whatever, Kevin Kline's character is like, oh, she knows where blah 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 is happening, and Will Smith's like, where? And she says something vague, and he's like, all right, bye. And like they go to leave, and that's when they leave her off the train. They leave
Like,
her.
yeah, yeah. So the twist at the end literally has no relevance to anything. It's just dumb.
Yeah, I don't know.
So bad. Just add it to the list of terrible things about this movie.
Hey, Starry Cow, what's up? Yeah, I don't know what to think about it.
I
Um,
don't know.
are we are we done with this movie, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we've beaten this movie into the ground enough. Like we covered highlights, most of like the cons of this movie. So I think we can go ahead and give it a final rating.
All right, go ahead. You go with yours.
Um, we much saw eye to eye on this, and
Mhm.
so I think the whole point of doing the second review is if we have differing opinions,
Which we
um,
don't.
you know, we did in Godzilla, which
Yes.
was great because I think we were able to talk through a lot of the different thoughts that we had.
Yes.
And so I ended up readjusting my score. So I think that's the whole point, of revisiting the review.
Yeah.
However, we both agreed on this movie, and I don't I doubt that any counterpoints probably would have swayed me. So I think that I'm gonna keep my original score. I'm gonna keep it at a 2 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, I would say probably a 2.5 out of 10. I'm going to go lower from 3. I'm going to say a 2.5 because when you talk about it, like seeing it and thinking it is one thing, but whenever you kind of dig deep into some of these cons rather than just being like, oh yeah, all this was stupid, when you actually like dig deep, it really shines through how bad this movie is. I hate to say it
Yeah.
because, like I said, I like Will Smith and I used to love this movie, but it's bad. So I'll give it a point for being steampunk, the giant spider. I'll give it a point for the song Wild Wild West, and a half a point for Salma Hayek's ass crack. And that's
A very important part of the movie.
right. It was super important. It was very important to the plot.
A whole half of a point
Yeah,
important.
that's it. That's all it gets. Well, it was only half the ass crack.
Yeah, I mean, when I watched the movie, I just completely
It's
disassociated from everything about it. Like I
yeah,
watched it so I could review it, but honestly, like it pulled to watch the entire thing.
yeah. It's not even a movie. Like I would say, and you know how much I disliked Godzilla, but I would say that Godzilla is a movie that you can have on in the background and still be doing something while you're kind of half paying attention to it. But
Yeah.
Wild Wild West does not fit that criteria. It is not a movie that you can just have on and half pay attention to it, half not while you're working on something else. It's not even worth being on your TV. Just saying.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
So I don't know. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got. Uh,
Um, our,
and
if anybody in the chats, both chats, has a review, you can email or not email, send a message to either me or Hotter Biscuit, and you have to have a reason on why you want it reviewed, so we can limit the trolley requests. But I think we said we were going to do this every other Tuesday, right? Starting from today.
yeah,
Um,
so 2 weeks from now.
right. So 2 weeks from today, we'll do another one. Um, so yeah, if there's any movies you guys want to see us watch and discuss an obviously great length because we spent 50 minutes talking about a bad movie,
Yeah.
um, let us know and we'll check it out.
Crow's gonna find us a movie.
All right, that sounds fine to me. Cool with me, McPerson. Like I
Then
said, just give us like a reason, that way we don't get like Passion of the Christ or I don't know,
uh what was the other one? Baby.
Boss Baby. But actually, McPerson says that we should actually do Boss Baby.
Why?
I don't know. That's the thing. I have to have a reason before I start watching it. But I know that one is on Netflix because my
Is
kids watch it
it?
all the time. They
I'm gonna
freaking love
follow
it.
McPherson.
McPerson's cool. Um, but yeah,
Boss baby. I don't know about that. I would have to give it serious
no,
consideration.
it's
I would
it's
I would have to have a good reason.
it's
Someone would
not that
have to
it's
give me the
annoying
reason.
McPherson. I want a reason behind it because I don't want people to be like, oh, you should review Passion of the Christ like we got last time. And that's like a 3-hour movie, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
we all know the story of Passion of the Christ. I think that would also be super um, triggering to some people personally. Um, you actually have a real one. If you want to put it in my Discord, since you're a part of it, in the Ten Biscuits movie review ideas or whatever, um, I would love to. I would love to read it and stuff, and we'll discuss.
Fifth Element. Sorry, Crow. I love the Fifth
Fifth
Element.
Element's a great movie.
I
Fifth
had
Element is a good
another.
movie.
I had a suggestion.
Okay, I'm listening.
So either China or Escape from New York. Those man.
Why?
I don't know, because I think your opinion on them. Because I like them. So if you don't like them, then that would be a good review.
What were the two movies again?
In Little China
Okay.
and Escape from is it Escape from LA
Uh,
or New York?
well, the
Escape from New
first
York?
the first one's Escape from New York. The second one's Escape from LA. Um, but I will have you know that those are two of my favorite movies. Um,
Then if
if
they're both
you
if we know we both like them.
if you would like to do Escape from LA though, because it's pretty much unanimously hated, and I find it awesome,
Yeah.
we can do that because I'm always down to watch Kurt Russell. I still to this
Yeah.
day will fight anyone who says Kurt Russell has ever done a bad movie.
I don't know if you guys can see, but in the photo behind me, like it's the one straight behind me. There was a crossover comic that was made of Big Trouble in Little China and Escape from New York.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, Tinman, you should check it out if you like them.
I will have.
There's-
Did you know they're remaking Big Trouble in Little China?
Oh, I was gonna say that I'm excited, but I don't know, I'm a little bit afraid.
Do you know who's playing the
Who's
main
gonna be in it?
character? Do you want to know who's playing the main character?
Sure,
Just take
tell me.
just take one guess.
Okay. The Rock?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay,
It is The
that
Rock.
I could be okay with that.
What? How can you say that? God.
Because he's goofy. And
Yeah, but
he's kind of got like the same body type.
okay. But Lopan's dead.
Well, I'm not saying that it's a good idea, but I'm not like
They were also supposed to be
passing.
remaking Escape from New York, which if they do that, I will be really mad.
I feel like if they remake that one, it's gonna be like dark and gritty,
Yeah. How was
Batman dark and gritty.
Garfield A
That's
Tale
been
of
so
Two
overdone.
Kitties? I don't I don't
Scrubby
know.
May.
I don't know Scrub
Garfield.
Hime. I don't. I don't watch. Stop with the Garfield shit, freak. God, good lord. If you don't know, Scrub Hime is obsessed with Garfield.
Oh, I did not know. Actually,
Yes,
well, now that you say it, I think I've seen some Garfield stuff from her. So,
probably in a meme way. Bullshit. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some movies that I own that. Hmm. Oh, you know what would be a good one? Um, The Thing.
could be a good movie. I haven't seen that in a really long time.
Not the Kurt Russell one, the new one with what's her name? Um, shit, I can't remember her name, but you know what I'm talking about?
Classic one,
What?
like the classic thing.
No, the new one. It's came out in 2011, and it's got Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it. Do you know it?
Oh.
So it takes place before Kurt Russell's The Thing. So it's like the lead up to the Kurt Russell one. And I have never personally seen it, but I have heard it's really bad. So I would be interested in watching it myself and also hearing your thoughts on it.
Hey, yeah, let's throw some of these movies into the Discord,
Okay,
and we can kind of discuss and come up with something for next stream.
sounds good to me. Is that a
Yeah,
wrap?
I think that's a wrap.
All right, I think this was pretty good. This was good. Um,
As it could be for a bad movie.
yeah, yeah, as good as it could be for a bad movie for sure.
All
Um,
right, cool.
hey Shamil, what's up? Getting ready to end it actually. So, like I said, if anybody has a genuine movie review that you would like to see done, post it in the Discord or send it as a message to either me or Hotter Biscuit, um, and give a reason why, and we will look into it. We will discuss amongst ourselves and figure out if it's one that we want to do. Um, but yeah, every other Tuesday from now on, I think, or at least for the foreseeable future, we'll do this, unless something, a previous engagement arises. But yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out. So have a good night, guys.
So much, and we'll see you for our next review.